Hear these words of Jesus as recorded in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 13, verses 24 to 37. But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he will send out the angels and gather his select from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. From the fig tree learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Beware, keep alert, for you do not know when that time will come. It is like a man going on a journey when he leaves home and puts his slaves in charge, each with his work, and commands the doorkeeper to be on the watch. Therefore, keep awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come, in the evening, or at midnight, or at cockcrow, or at dawn. Or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you, I say to all, keep awake. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church today.
Will you please pray with me? Oh God, come to us in the quietness of the places where we find ourselves at this very moment. Center our hearts and our minds on you and you alone. Open us to the power and to the presence of your Holy Spirit, and remind us that your love, mercy, and grace come to us unasked for and free. Amen. A military cadence, or cadence call, is a traditional call and response work song sung by military personnel while they are running or marching. Now, my first experience with cadence was when I was in basic training a couple of years ago. The drill sergeant would initiate a line, and the unit was to complete it, thus instilling teamwork and camaraderie for completion. For example, here we go again, same old stuff again, marching down the avenue in a column 2 by 2. Am I right or wrong? You're right. There are literally hundreds of military cadence calls, many of which I remember with fond nostalgia. In addition to referring to a military marching song, cadence can also be defined as a rhythmic flow of events, if you will. So in the life of the church, the rhythm of these things that we celebrate or remember, Pentecost, our holy days, Lent, there's a rhythm and flow to church life. Here we go again. Today marks the first Sunday in Advent. Christmas is about the coming in the present of Jesus Christ, who came a long time ago in the past. Jesus comes again each Christmas. Now, this is the central purpose of the season of the church year that we call Advent, the 4 Sundays and the 4 weeks before Christmas. You see, each Advent, we relive ancient Israel's yearning and hope. And each Christmas, we celebrate the fulfillment of that yearning. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. The Latin root of Advent is a word that means coming. So Advent thus means toward the coming. Advent is preparation for the coming of Jesus into the world. Then, in the past, now in the present, and as we will see later, in the future. Advent and Christmas bring the coming of Jesus and the birth of Jesus into the present. Now, it is also a season of expectant anticipation, of anticipatory joy. And it is also a season of repentant preparation for a future that is yet to come. Robert La Rochelle says that Advent at its core is really, quote, a time wherein we imperfect people whose lives are all too often beset with worries of varied and sundry kinds, wait in anticipation for a God who would tear down the heavens and come down, yet in reality might come less dramatically, a God who may come in the simple presence we would find in our experience of absence, end quote. So today's gospel reading that Bill just read cautions us about what is coming down the road. Beware, keep alert, for you do not know when the time will come. Keep awake. Eugene Peterson puts it this way in the Message. So keep a sharp lookout, for you do not know the timetable. Stay at your post. Keep watch. The gospel from Mark, like Isaiah, is somewhat jarring when read in worship. It seems strange and a bit judgmental, scary even. And you thought that last week's judgmental text was in our rearview mirror? But on deeper reflection, its purpose is quite the opposite. Not to scare or alarm, but to comfort and strengthen. The world around us changes quickly, passes away. It's not the same as it used to be. Insert a rant for whatever reminds you of the good old days. But we are reminded that Christ's word to us, Christ's word never changes. Jesus, while seemingly absent for an exceedingly long period of time, I might add, is still with us. Jesus is still with us in the hearts and in the lives of his people. The word is still alive and doing its work in and through us. So Advent's repentant preparation is more than contrition or being sincerely sorry for things that we've done wrong, confessing or perhaps even penance, but rather the word really it emphasizes change. To repent is to turn toward God. In the Hebrew scriptures, its meaning is shaped by the Jewish experience in exile. It means to return from exile to the place of God's presence. Now, in the New Testament, repentance continues this theme from the Hebrew scriptures and adds an additional nuance. See, in the New Testament text, the root of the Greek word that we translate into repent means to go beyond the mind that you have, to enter into a new mindset, a new way of seeing, To repent means to being seen differently. To repent is to change. Steve Garness Holmes writes, "Yes, it is the end times, and it always has been, the end of this time and the beginning of another. A time of urgency, of immediacy, of moral emergency. Don't imagine things will go on or revert to some way they've been. This is the day to make things new, beginning with yourself. And yet, not to make, but to be made. Begin the end here. Let yourself end. Let your sun darken, your stars fall. Give yourself up to the one who will say in the darkness, 'Let there be light.' Until the word is spoken, let there be darkness." What does Advent as a season of repentant preparation, what does that mean for us here in Orleans, Massachusetts in 2020? Well, on a personal level, Christmas is about light coming into the darkness of our lives. It's about returning from exile. It's about inner peace. In this year of a global pandemic, we all want to emerge from this darkness, this exile of seclusion and isolation, and glean a bit of hope-filled peace, don't we? One commentator writes that the Gospel of Mark, quote, throws cold water over a church that sees the arrival of the Messiah in sappy, sentimental ways. Welcome to Advent. Whether or not this sounds like good news depends on a listener's and a community's social location. End quote. And so on this first Sunday in Advent, we seek hope. Hope not only for us individually, but also for the world. Who can argue that 2020 has not been a tumultuous year? What do we hope for in these days that are growing darker and darker? In 1987, Miriam Therese Winter wrote these words for the hymn, "Oh, for a World." "Oh, for a world where everyone respect each other's ways, where love is lived and all is done with justice and with praise." Hope. Hope. Hope is the possibility of a COVID-19 vaccine, which will bring healing and normalcy to the world. Hope for a world where Black lives matter and where we build bridges rather than walls. Hope is where we welcome the stranger rather than putting them in cages. Hope is caring for the environment rather than calling it a hoax. Hope is a world in which when others go low, we always go high. Hope is setting aside political rancor and violence and seeking common ground and striving to serve the common good for all of humanity. Hope, like faith, is what we hold on to in troubled times. As Isaiah writes, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. And hope can be found in the story of a child born in a humble manger during very turbulent times over 2,000 years ago. Winter concludes her hymn, "O for a world preparing for God's glorious reign of peace, where time and tears will be no more, and all but love will cease." Here we go again. The season of Advent is now upon us. May we be open to new ways of being the church in a year that a global pandemic has taken the wind out of our sails. May we be open to new ways to serve the overlooked, the ignored. May the Spirit guide us into an Advent that matters. Keep alert for the face of Christ, alive with love, spreading love, and being spiritually formed by love. In those days after that suffering, the text says, in those days, be alive, be awake to that love. Only then will we experience Advent.